Meteorologist John Morales is joining us now to break it down for us. John.
Hi, good afternoon to both of you. And indeed, the advisory is in. This is still a formidable hurricane, now ranked as the second strongest hurricane in the Atlantic basin since the year 1950. And you can see it moving here past Marsh Harbor, now entering into other portions of Great Abaco, specifically near Leeward Beach. The hurricane very painfully slow moving, just a terrible situation for the folks in Great Abaco that have had to face the eye of this hurricane for so many hours. And if you've seen some of the videos, either here on air on NBC6 or perhaps through social media, you know that there's been a lot of people out and about in the eye of the hurricane, because it's the only way. I mean, the backside of the hurricane, well, just right now moved out over this key here. Marsh Harbor is right in here. So Marsh Harbor is not out here. It's actually in here. So you can see how it took its good time to move over that area. And that's how people dangerously, by the way, were out and about recording things outside. And of course, you saw some videos also from the interior of some of the residences there, gutted because of the strong winds. So let's get to the nitty-gritty here. Let's talk about the 5 p.m. advisory. Still a Category 5 hurricane. Maximum sustained winds, 185 miles per hour. There's only one hurricane that's been stronger since the year 1950 across the Atlantic basin. The central pressure continues to drop. So it's not even holding steady. It continues to strengthen. The pressure is down to 910 millibars at this hour. Moving towards the west at 7 miles per hour. This hasn't changed in the last few hours. And you can see the latitude and the longitude. And of course, when these things are so close, you really start to look at that latitude, right? So Miami, for example, is at 25.5 degrees north latitude. So basically it's 1.1 degrees north of here, of Miami that is. Not Fort Lauderdale, it's also north of Fort Lauderdale, but it's 1.1 degrees north of Miami. That makes it 66 nautical miles, which is about 75 of regular miles, all right? So it's about 75 miles north of Miami already. And it's also north of Fort Lauderdale, and I'll measure that for you in just a little bit. But again, for now, moving towards the west, as expected. And I'm going to be preparing graphics as we go through this continued coverage here that we'll have probably through 6:30, and then we'll see what we do tonight after nightly news. But I'm going to prepare some graphics to show you just how incredibly accurate the track forecast from the National Hurricane Center has been, because they got the turn right and they got the position right. And of course, they missed on the intensity a little bit. I had told you on air, I think I've told you for 3 or 4 days now, that it might not stop at Category 4, and indeed it did not. And now, of course, it's basically a record setter in terms of intensity. All right, so this is the updated 5 p.m. a cone of concern from the National Hurricane Center. Look how long it takes. So it's in Great Abaco now. It'll traverse through into Grand Bahama, and to get to the west end of Grand Bahama, it's going to take until Labor Day afternoon to get to the west end of Grand Bahama. How many hours of Category 5 conditions can one withstand? It is after that point. It is on Monday evening, when this hurricane is expected to make a relatively sharp northerly turn. There's a high level of confidence on the turn. It's going to turn, all right? And that's because this hurricane slowed down so much that the high pressure system to the north that has been blocking it and keeping it moving towards the west is going to move out of the way. It's going to erode, move out into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. That opens up the door for a dip in the jet stream that's pretty pronounced for this time of the year. The dip in the jet stream picks up the system and moves it towards the northwest away from South Florida. Now, what there's not a lot of confidence on just yet is how close will that turn be to the coast of Florida, anywhere from Palm Beach and up the coast. So the breaking news right now, as of 5 p.m., a hurricane warning has been hoisted from Jupiter Inlet up to the Brevard-Volusia County line. A hurricane warning now, not including Palm Beach County, because it's from Jupiter Inlet, which is the demarcation between Palm Beach County and Martin County. It's the end of Palm Beach County. That is where this hurricane warning begins. So Palm Beach County, you remain under a hurricane watch at this hour, while Broward County, you still remain under a tropical storm watch at this hour. In Miami-Dade County, you remain under nothing. There is no type of advisory whatsoever for Miami-Dade County, and much less for the Florida Keys. Looking at the rest of this track, you can see it here. After the turn, again, some question marks. Does it make landfall? Or is it Matthew 2.0? Which, by the way, Matthew was very destructive, because the center of the eye never actually made landfall, but it was so close to land that it caused a big-time storm surge, big-time winds, and serious damage, especially along the east coast of central Florida and points north from there. And then you see this recurvature on towards the north and northeast, with North Carolina, South Carolina in play for the possibility of a weakening hurricane at the time, weakening because of that dip in the jet stream, which would produce upper-level wind shear and cause this system to lose some strength. So generally speaking, not a lot has changed in this 5 p.m. cone of concern. Listen, I've been on this since 8 o'clock this morning on social media, and there is a lot of anxiety out there because you don't see it turning. Right? When is it going to turn? John, it's not turning. It's coming straight to us. It's going to turn. All right? The turn was never forecast to be on Sunday. The turn isn't even on Monday morning. The turn will come Monday afternoon, Monday evening, into Tuesday. And that's why, if you're in Palm Beach County, I've been advising you, even though you're not under a hurricane warning, to probably put up your shutters, especially from Delray Beach points north. And by the way, our station doesn't serve Palm Beach County, but I think there's a lot of people streaming this right now. So I'm addressing you in Palm Beach County at this time. My recommendation is that you do put them up, especially in coastal Palm Beach County, from Delray Beach and points north. Put up the shutters just in case. Miami-Dade, don't worry about it. Broward, only in Broward, a mobile home, which my recommendation is leave the mobile home. Even tropical storm winds can destroy a mobile home because they're made of cardboard and glue. All right? So, go to our friends, find somewhere to be. Don't be in a mobile home, even if it's only tropical storm conditions that we would see in the worst case scenario for Broward County. But because that worst case scenario does not include hurricane conditions, all right, and much less hurricane conditions of 100 plus miles per hour, much less, because that's not even being contemplated right now. Shutters is not an issue unless, again, it's a mobile home or just some very poorly constructed shack, I guess. Here's the radar now. This is our radar, First Alert Doppler 6000. Good range out to find the eye of this hurricane, so well defined here in Abaco, moving towards the west, again, very slowly, 7 miles an hour, crawling along. You can see some of these spiral bands rotating around the hurricane off in the distance. I mean, you could argue that some of the rain that just passed Miami is indirectly linked to this hurricane, but mostly across the metro area with the occasional passing shower. There's also been long periods of sun today, and we'll discuss the details of how the weather is going to evolve on Monday into Tuesday here across South Florida in just a little bit. Now, let me show you these wind bands because, again, if you follow me on social media at John Morales, NBC6, you probably saw an image that looked very much like this, perhaps with different colors, of the wind radii of the different intensities here when the hurricane would be close to our coastline. And at its closest point of approach to my viewing area, say Fort Lauderdale, at 95 miles distance, which would be the closest point of approach, this yellow area, which is the sustained winds of tropical storm force, would never reach you. It would stay offshore. Let me show you that. We're going to put this in motion here. Here's Monday at 9 a.m., such a slow mover. There it is. All those hurricane force winds over Grand Bahama at the time. There's your sustained tropical storm force winds. Here's the next image. We're going to set this in motion. So here's Tuesday 9 a.m. So imagine from Monday 9 a.m. to Tuesday 9 a.m., it moves from here, it moved this way. This moved this way. You can barely see Miami there, down there. There's Fort Lauderdale. There's Deerfield Beach. So this wind field would stay away. Other graphics I'll be preparing today are graphics titled Reasonable Worst Case Scenario. And they're produced by the National Weather Service. And I'm going to show you what would happen if this forecast was wrong in its track. This is the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center, okay? What if the forecast was wrong in the track and this moved closer to Palm Beach, okay? What if the forecast was wrong with the wind radii? What if this wind field was bigger? What if the actual intensity of the hurricane changed unexpectedly to an intensity that they were not expecting, either higher or lower than that? Reasonable worst case scenario graphic, which again, it's on my Facebook Live and it's on my feed at John Morales NBC6 on Twitter, will show you what the expectation is for conditions if this forecast is wrong and we end up somewhere in here. And what you're going to see is that for parts of Broward County, the winds could reach 57 to 73 miles per hour. And what you would see for Miami-Dade County is that they could reach 39 to 57 miles per hour. Should this forecast be wrong and we had a worst case scenario, should this forecast be wrong and we had a worst case scenario for coastal Palm Beach from Delray and points north, your winds, instead of being, sustained 40 to 50 miles an hour with gusts to 60 and 70, instead of this in yellow, you'd be in here, okay? In Palm Beach, you'd be in here. And then your winds could reach minimum hurricane 74 to 110 miles per hour. 110 miles per hour is something you put up shutters for. Now, that's not the forecast. The forecast is this, conditions that are mainly tropical storm force for you. But if the forecast is wrong, not according to me, but if the forecast is wrong, according to dozens of meteorologists at the National Weather Service and at the National Hurricane Center, the reasonable worst case scenario is what I just described to you, that you could get winds of up to 110 miles an hour from Delray Beach and points north. What did I say, 57 to 73 in Broward County, not including, by the way, Miramar and deep southern Broward County, which would have more the Miami-Dade type of conditions. In the worst case scenario, if this forecast was wrong, Miami-Dade, you would have winds between 39 and 73, 39 and 57 miles per hour, 39 and 57 miles per hour. So what I'm trying to tell you is, I know you're anxious. I know the hurricane's moving west, but there is a high degree of confidence now on this north turn. What we're not sure about, what there is some medium confidence instead of high confidence is, does it stay offshore or can it possibly get on shore? This core of the hurricane, does it get on shore? That's what we're wondering about right now. But here in our viewing area in South Florida, we're okay. We're monitoring this from a distance, but there's no need to panic. I know you're anxious, but and I'm reminded of some things I've seen on social media since yesterday. Don't panic, because we're not at that stage down here in southern portions of the Florida Peninsula. Dorian maintaining its intensity over the Bahamas. The models do insist on slower speed. We knew that. It'll stall over the Bahamas for 24 hours and then turn. We'll see some rain bands. We're already seeing some exterior rain bands at this time. So I'm not going to talk much about the Florida Keys, part of our viewing area. I'll talk some about Miami-Dade, but I'll talk a lot about Broward. Because, of course, you're going to be within 95 miles of the center of this hurricane. And the last time we were 95 miles from the center of a hurricane was Hurricane Irma, which was quite impactful upon our entire viewing area. But if you've been watching Steve McLaughlin here, and you've seen the explanation about the hurricane quadrants and how the northeastern corner of the hurricane is the worst, the one on the upper right in relation to its motion, that's the worst one. The other part of that semicircle on the right-hand side of how the hurricane is moving, that's the second worst one. The third worst one is the one, and I don't have a graphic for that, but just hear me out. The one in the upper left in relation to how it's moving, in the upper left, that's the third worst one. And what's the most benign of the four quadrants of the hurricane? The one we're all going to be in. That's the weakest side of this hurricane. So it's not like Irma that passed only 90 miles to our west, and it was a gigantic, massive hurricane, much bigger than this one, all right, because this is a compact system, and we had really bad conditions here, but we were on the dirty side of Irma. We're going to be on the cleaner side of Dorian. Plus, Dorian is very compact, very tiny hurricane compared to massive Irma. So, yes, you might want to do this in case you get that worst case scenario. Secure outdoor items. The power goes out here with a couple of thunderstorms, right? So consider a plan for some power interruptions in Broward County. And this really applies to everybody from Miami-Dade and the Keys, Broward, definitely points north of Broward. You continue to monitor the forecast for any changes, but again, as of 5 p.m., there are no changes. Everything is right on track. It hasn't turned, but it's going to turn. It was not supposed to turn today. It may not even turn when you wake up tomorrow morning, but it should start turning tomorrow night. And that's when we watch the first thing it'll do is it'll stop. It'll kind of like meander there. Unfortunately for the Bahamas, it'll just sit there. It's going to sit there, waiting for that dip in the jet stream. The dip in the jet stream will come and sweep it towards the northwest. Pick it up. It's going to move into that weakness in the atmosphere at that time. So usually when I first come on air, I do really long presentations. I guess this was one of them, but I just wanted to make sure I could get all my most important talking points to you out there immediately. There's a lot of maps to produce. I want to be able to. I want to show you that dip in the jet stream so that you see what I'm talking about and how it's going to behave in relation to the hurricane. Ryan Phillips is here as well. We're going to be here through the evening, and whether we're on the air in continuous coverage or frequently breaking in, we're going to be your station, and we're going to be our entire team of meteorologists, the ones that can give you the facts without the hype and keeping the fear and the anxiety as level as possible, because I understand. I know why you're anxious. It doesn't turn, and you're worried, but it's going to turn. Now back to you guys.
Hi, I'm Shelly. Thank you for checking out our NBC6 South Florida YouTube channel. You want more videos like the kind you just watched? Click right here on the subscribe button below. Get the latest stories, interviews, caught on camera, and more. Digital exclusives as well, all for you. Subscribe now.